Alright, so it seems like we're actually live this time. Had some issues with the encoder. But unfortunately today we're taking a step back from the Final Fantasy series. Simply because my wildcard production does not meet up to the standards of what it takes to build some of these Final Fantasy decks that some of the other Brawl content creators are putting out. Simply because a lot of them use multiple Final Fantasy cards, and I so far don't have all that much of the Final Fantasy series. So, we're going back to one of my favorite cards from Pioneer, and that is a Gyruda Doom of Depths. Now, this is one of the Fated Companion series that basically ruined Magic for a number of months. Between Urion, Luris, I believe Zerda, I can't remember which other one. Several of them have been banned in different formats. Specifically with Gyruda, I enjoyed it in Pioneer. It's an interesting combo deck in that what it would do is it would play like this, play a bunch of different cloning effects, especially Spark Double, creating a bunch of copies itself, milling over a bunch of cards, eventually find Dragon Lord Kolaghan, and then smack you with a bunch of hasty 6/6 creatures and try to win the game. And then it would try to win or try to play some amount of 2-mana accelerators, whether it was, I think you generally Sylvan Carotid and trying to think what the other one was. The downside with the deck is it got much worse once the companion tax was added. So, this is just being played straight up as the commander in this deck. It's being played as a 6-mana commander. So basically this is a blue-black Dimir control deck that also has a lot of Blink style effects. Whether it be things like Essence Flux, whether it be Teferi's Time Plot, Planar Incision, a bunch of the 4-mana clone effects, Phyrexian Metamorph, Spark Double, Surgical Metamorph, Thassa's Deep Dwelling, which isn't a clone per se, but is, the ability to blink Gyruda, So basically all the 4-mana, because this one abuses anything with even mana costs, so 2, 4, and 6. Oftentimes you are going to blink on this, or blank on the hits. Sometimes you might hit something from your opponent's deck. In addition to, bless you, in addition to this, there are other things in this deck like Panharmonicon and stuff like that that allow you to copy triggers, getting even more copies, milling more cards, and getting more chances to hit cards. So basically it's a blue-black control deck with a bit of a value combo flourish. There is no way to immediately win with this, I don't believe, from what I've seen. But you can hit value things like Masker Worm, Dragon Lord Silumgar, and then from there. So basically, blue-black control deck with a little bit of a blink combo, the ability to copy it many times. Obviously, Spark Double is the best one, which allows you to create a non-legendary copy of it. Then you can use your other copies to copy the Spark Double. Unfortunately, obviously in Brawl and Commander, you can't run multiple copies of Spark Double, so unfortunately you're left with just normal clones, which basically are just replacing copies of Gyruda, just continuing to mill more cards and trying to get hits. So let's jump into some games and see how this does. I played this deck quite a bit. The original list is from MTG Josh. I know I've copied their work quite a bit lately. He has a lot of interesting stuff. Amy the Amazonian has quite a bit of stuff. Obviously CGB and Legend VD also put out quite a bit. So this hand's fine. A little bit on the slow side, but we do have Thoughtseize interact, so hopefully that will buy us a little bit of time against the Toski deck, although looks like we're going to get kind of ran over here pretty quick. So See if we can disrupt them. So it appears our opponent's problem is lands. So for now, we're going to take the land. Languish is pretty good there. We're going to surveil here and kind of hope. Okay. Sure. I'm going to take a beating in the meantime. If they do draw another land, they're going to draw a bunch of cards, which is just nothing we can do about it, unfortunately. Displacer Kitten's a good card, but I don't think it's what we're looking for here. Sure. Should have played Darkslick Shores there. Alright. Opponent does draw their land. Unfortunate part for them is they're not going to have a board here, so. And our opponent concedes. I don't think they were completely dead here, but I do think they were very far behind. Haven't seen Toski much in a while, but it is a card that definitely lends towards a mono green aggressive strategy. Most of the green decks you see tend to be heavy ramp elements, whether it's a Zeus, the 4 mana, I can't remember, I literally played against it earlier. It's a 4 mana, basically when it comes in, creates a duplicate of every land that's played once a turn. You know, basically you're looking at heavy ramp decks usually that have some type of powerful finish. Sometimes they're Eldrazi. Oh, speaking of which, Mythmere Pock is the one I was talking about. Yeah, and it's fine. A little bit on the slow side, but we have enough early interaction for our opponent. I think the one thing this deck I've seen consistently lack so far is good card draw. Black Market Connections is certainly a good card. I just wonder if you don't want something like Phyrexian Arena to add a little bit more card draw, or the One Ring, just getting a little bit more early card draw. Like, it does have Black Market Connections, Search for Azcanta, both of which are quite good cards. I'm just going to play Shipwreck Marsh. Courser of Krifrix. They notably don't seem to have. Okay, so they do have another land. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I'm just going to do this for 3. Grazer. Okay, so it does look like they maybe held back a land somewhere in this mess. Possible I should just tell off Flare of Denial for Pock. Okay. What do we got? go ahead and counter prime time. The fun part is, while I was kind of practicing for today, I was getting my butt kicked by these mono green decks, so I find it funny that no matter, like, however you end up practicing, or whatever you end up practicing against, a lot of times when you start streaming, all of a sudden your deck just decides it's going to do the opposite. That's why Magic is so entertaining and so infuriating sometimes, is just the sheer amount of variance inherently built into the deck. So, all right, we're up against Tiamat. I don't think we can keep a 2-lander, especially this kind of awkward. This game's a little bit better, although this is like one of the worst duels in our deck. So we'll keep it. Just play out our basics first, see if we get a little bit better idea of what we want to do with a Klondike bar. No, seeing what we want to do with our dual land. Probably going to end up being on black now. Okay. What would you do for a Klondike bar? Alright, let's go ahead and cycle this. Do that. Do this. Name black. Go ahead and kill that. So it appears my opponent might have either Swords to Plowshares or Path to Exile up, because that's like one of the few cards that white could be held up for. Akin to all. Different version of Baitor, see? But yeah, our opponent is consistently holding up. White mana there, which really seems to indicate to me that they had Swords to Plowshares, though I guess they just decided they were going to be outvalued and conceded. So. Clive Russefeld. Don't think I've actually played against this one. Oh. Battle Smasher, partner. Okay. We'll keep this one. Lead on that. Clear controls. Okay. Go ahead and deal with this Bloom Thunder. Yep. So I guess technically four scry one. Okay. Do that. Alright, migration path, sure. So that would put me up to 3, 4, 5, 6, which would give me exactly enough for what I want to do this turn, which is feed this swarm into Solemn Simulacrum. Do I need more? I guess another island wouldn't hurt. Actually, I should have gotten a swamp because we do have Invoke Despair in our deck. So having another black source would have been fine. Alrighty then. Okay, do you have a counter spell? Yeah, put that in the graveyard. Okay. Okay. Has started the masterification process. To Good chance this is biting a counter spell. What I kind of warned about the deck having a fairly high brick rate, but we're just too far behind against the Vial Smasher deck. So for those of you that are as familiar, Partner is a mechanic you'll see more in regular Commander, basically where you can play two different commanders, but they both have to have Partner in their description. Allows you to have more options, usually for 4-color decks, which typically 2 and 3 color decks, there's a lot of commanders, and then 4-color decks, there are some, you know, obviously you have Atraxas, you have Aragon, you have some that are 4-color, but a lot of the times the 4-color decks specifically are copy it. Wallz the Citadel is a great late game card, but right now we need more early interaction stuff. They told me, bum. Alright, so let that attack. Strike it rich, sure. I'm just going to grab Feeded Pulls at this point, so I'm going to have another tap land. I'm going to jam this as a counter spell, bait target. Shocker. Looks like they're going to continue to hold up counter magic. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of damage. Don't know, there's a lot of things we could find right now, but we'll see what we can find. The answer is I don't think anything keeps us alive, so I guess theoretically we could have taken Bitter Triumph, killed Narset, and then taken 4 and hoped to top deck a sweeper. But yeah, Brawlz, what's up, Ben? How you doing? Wanted to play some more Final Fantasy stuff tonight, but the wild cards just haven't caught up to the creative process yet. the downside of being mainly a free-to-play player. Those of you that aren't as familiar with Arena versus Paper, Arena is very much, it's a wildcard client. It's not a tradable card game like, say, MTGO or MTG. So everything you get is through wildcards. Have not seen much of Kefka. Each player discards card and then draws card for each card type among. Draws attacks. Each player discards card. Each opponent sacrifices permanent. Your opponent loses life during your turn. You may draw that many cards. Okay. Hand seems fine. See if our opponent has anything big in hand. By big in hand, they have a bunch of discard spells. Yay! Discard spells. So, however, their mana is hecka awkward. Take Thought Erasure. So the reason behind taking Thought Erasure there is the one that allows them to potentially fix a draw in addition to taking a card. Obviously, we're going to lose Black Market Connections here. So, yeah, I've only kind of started to look at the Final Fantasy stuff beyond the three that I want to someday build in Paper were Cloud, Sephiroth, and Ultima. Ultima, I don't have a ton of wild cards because the colorless things are going to be crazy numbers of wild cards. So I've been trying to grind some Final Fantasy stuff in the background. Mainly I've been doing they do the little introductory jumpstart packs that allow you to like get some like commons and uncommons and like a couple rares. Speaking of broken crap, no, Taval is this is the wrong Taval. The Taval I think it's the other Taval that allows you to cast stuff in your graveyard and then you take damage equal to the mana cost of the spells you cast is kind of nuts. There's so many broken things between Dragonstorm, Tarkir, and Final Fantasy. It's one of the things I love about Commander and Brawl is just the fact that there's so much stuff to do, and with the tiered matchmaking system, unlike say Pioneer or Modern, where you face, even when you're doing like the kind of casual stuff, you're guaranteed to face one of the tier 1 decks. There's a bunch of stuff that you can just like jam and it's fun as heck. So so I'm against that. I think it's terrible, but I do think we can do better. I have a feeling it's either going to be a ramp spell or a Thoughtseize style card. I'm not sure which. Apparently neither. I was wrong. Something that as a married person you should be getting used to saying a lot, especially if you're the guy. Alright, draw more lands. More Power Stone. This card is very busted in this deck. If it actually lives to where your opponent doesn't blow your shish kebabs up. That's the thing about Brawl and Commander. A lot of times there are just... What the heck does this do? The heck? Alrighty then. There's another land, leisure secret land card, Blanchers. It's kind of a busted card. So you're driving home. How are you texting in chat? Opponent's like, nope, I'm out of here. What? No, but it is technically illegal. I love you. You and Dale both make me nervous with texting while driving. The voice from the other room doth spoke. YouTube app, got it. This hand is one of the ones that you just look at the hand or deck and go, well, this is a pile of something. You've got like 2 blink effects, 1 sweeper, 1 ramp spell. Vivi is a scary card. So they brainstorm? Interesting. This is how many times can we play Vivi? One of those cards that even with a sweeper, you have to get this off the battlefield. This card is just too dangerous if it gets rolling. In some ways, it's about as bad as Bodrok. I would say... some ways it's better, in some ways it's worse than Bodrok. So I paid 1 extra life just in case they had some free spell that I can't think of outside of Force of, or Pact of Negation, which there's nothing we could have done about that. Well, Pact of Negation and... I don't know if Force of Negation is legal in the format or not. Okay. Arcane Signet, because I guarantee our opponent's sitting back on counter spells of some kind, and they're happy to just let us ramp. Alright. Dargans! Dargans holding up counterspells. I think we did. Oh, okay, they just tap out. I don't know that it's going to matter, but... What would the best hit be? Massacre Worm? This is a Demon Kraken. Why is it when this is on the battlefield, it never actually... Dupe. Yeah, pretty much. Release the Kraken! Anything down here worth... So I have access to 2 mana. Feed the Swarm would be... well... I should have gotten Massacre Worm there instead of Niv-Mizzet. It's one of the nice things about this deck, though, is it just can you know, flip over a bunch of cards. Of course, it looks like our opponent might be digging something out of their graveyard, so... Much like when I play against my wife, anytime I put anything in the graveyard, I usually get screwed in the process.
What about playing with me in graveyard and yada yada yada?
Oh, I just said much like anytime I put something in the graveyard, usually you have something to punish me for it.
Don't keep a graveyard.
Yeah, well, sometimes when your deck is all about self-mill, it happens.
Yeah, I like destroying your graveyards.
Oh, believe me, I know. It's like, do I attack? Do I not attack? Oh my. think we're gonna die to Storm here. Mm-hmm. I'm honestly surprised they haven't been able to kill us here yet. Who's a good ram in Foz? Jigan or Massacre Worm? Okay, so we're going to 2 here. Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. Opponent's like, oh, we have him dead. Wait, never mind. We are in a lot of trouble here because I think VV kills us. So fire this up. Problem is, our only non-creature spell on him we can't cast because then we're just dead, so... Yep, and we're dead. Yeah, she's currently on the six hour on, 6 hour off sleep plan. I used to get crap for taking naps. Now she takes naps like they're going, well, not even really naps. Midnight night sleeps well. Glad you guys are having a good day, Foz. So, it's been the liveliest chat's been in a while. We've got Ben, my brother, Foz, and my lovely wife, who's for the most part been quiet, but happens when you get older. Yeah, well. Maybe we shouldn't have kept the 3-island Invoke Despair hand, but because loot. What? You being awake? This card is scary. the few downsides with Arena is I'm not always a huge fan of the arena only alchemy cards. Some of them are unique, but a lot of them are just like regurgitate random card value. Our opponent, of course, has the Spell Pierce. Notably, loot means they can be holding up a counter spell. Means they effectively have a counter spell for our turn. Alright, we're just going to get looted into the ground. So for as lucky as we were our first couple of matches, we've been just as baby shark, apparently. Oh, another VV. Okay. This hand's just too... This hand's fine. Karn's Temporal Sundering. Okay, please. Between Valakut and Stormcatch Mentor, I think I'm going to take Valakut to just kind of stuff them on lands a little bit. And it's not that I don't appreciate the song, honey, it's just if a song gets caught on the stream, and it gets hit for a copyright strike, not good. I do think we play black market connections here. Actually, yeah, for 10 seconds or less, they can ding you. Especially with songs, specifically. Video clips, that's a one's a little bit more debatable. Okay, so even or odd? Get a little bit more information. Not as much interested in that card. It's a reflection in addition to its other types. So I can either Liliana and kill one of their creatures, or I can Extinction Event and deal with Vivi. I think we Liliana and deal with one of their creatures. Hopefully they don't play a second one. Your singing's gotten copyright restrictions. Do you think I should probably add Vivi to the Narset deck? You sound just like the Spice Girls. I don't even know what to say to that. Twitch agrees. Wow. Okay, so are we dead here? It's possible I shouldn't have gotten that greedy with oh, yay. Using Vivi's kind of broken ability and we are just dead. Alright. Hey Ben, if you're still around, what commanders have you been covering lately? It's been a minute since I've looked at your page. And then sound like Spice Girls. Wow. Brawlz expertise. Uh-oh. Somebody called for an ambulance. Okay, so we're up against an life gain deck of a sort. So let's surveil here. Certainly a card I'm interested in. Let's search for his Canta down. Okay. Huh. The ambulance is stuck at the gate, unfortunately. One of them. Well, that's not good. There's 2 ambulances coming. Actually, it looks like the fire truck.
Yeah, I heard a fire truck.
Well, the first one was a life something or other.
They're outside our apartment building.
Tenacious pup. Speaker of the heavens.
It might get really loud in here.
Okay.
This is for you.
Because it's what?
It's for the apartment in front of us on the other side.
On the left side?
Yeah.
Hope the big dude's alright.
Yeah, that's who it's for.
Oh, wonder if he's having breathing problems or something.
Oxygen.
Oh. Yeah. Not good. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the Speaker of the Heavens. It's possible I should have discarded an Aether Flux Reservoir or a Brawlz Expertise, perhaps. Just to get more cards in the graveyard to flip the search for his Canta. Okay, so Talisa's back. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Okay, so they are not burning the energy. One, two, three. I think we'll cast Thoughtseize. I think we take the Great Henge there. At this point, we're basically looking for a sweeper to kind of stabilize this game. Do you think our opponent probably should have gone to Lisa first, I guess, to get one more trigger? Nothing really in any graveyard worth reanimating at the moment. It's a reasonable card, but I'm more looking for something to keep me alive right now. So we might be taking a hit for 4 here. Druid class. Okay. That's just 7. Okay, so how does this work? Excuse me. Yeah, missed an opportunity there. Alright. We're just not going to find an answer anyway, so. If I would have Teferi's Time Twister the search for his Kanta, it's possible we could have dug one deeper, and who knows what the last card would have been. Maybe we would have found a sweeper, but I think we'll play one more tonight. Alright, Ketramos should be an interesting matchup. They're usually an attrition, obviously an attrition-based exile deck. This hand seems reasonable enough. Alright. Got our Surveil land on. Dreams of Oil and Steel. Wrath God, go blank. Okay, so they either get Roving Throne or undercover operative. Excuse me again. Good grief. I say I almost virtue persisted there, only to realize that wouldn't have actually killed Soren. Okay. We have a D-spark or something. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's kind of a very trash hand, or trash, Definitely go to the graveyard. They have sword. I was gonna say they have swords on top of everything here. Pretty sure we're dead here. Opponent just has to play Wrath and then kill us. Because Ketchermos has Menace, so. At least it was an interesting game. We didn't win it, but at least it was interesting. Alright, so once again looking at the deck, like I said, this deck is very much like a kind of a half combo deck, you know, with the blink effects and Gyruda and half controlling. So sometimes you draw the wrong half of the deck, sometimes you feel like you need to connect things a little bit more. One thing I will say about the deck is the very distinct lack of life gain in a deck that's paying a lot of life to draw cards. I'm not sure what changes you would want to make to that specifically. Whether it's black market connections, Bolus' Citadel, and then a couple of the removal spells. There are some life losses in here, so I do wonder if there isn't a way to gain a little bit of life per chance somewhere in the 100 cards. I'm sure there is some type of black-based finisher that has lifelink. I just can't think of any off the top of my head. That's one thing I noticed. Card draw, I mean, we do have Narset, we do have Ristic Study, we do have Black Market Connections. It does feel like there might be a tiny bit of lack of card draw in the early turns, especially in colors that are blue and black, both known for their ability to draw a fair amount of cards. So if I wanted to tweak it, I'd probably tweak a little bit of finding a little bit of incidental life gain and finding a little bit more card draw. There are some cards like Leyline of Anticipation, Brawlz Expertise, Torment of Hellfire. I don't think this deck is lacking finishers, but it is an interesting thing if you could generate more black mana. But yeah, this deck is, it's also missing Cyclonic Rift, so it feels like there's a lot of things missing in this deck, or that could be adjusted, especially since the deck isn't limited to, unlike say the companion rule that says it can only have even value cards. I said a black finisher that specifically has lifelink. Yes, Torment of Hellfire is certainly a black finisher. Guess I could try to take a look. Lifelink. Cavalier. Problem is we're looking for a finisher with... Actually, I know one card that would help. That would be... Kalitas has lifelink. Where is Noxious Gearhulk? Pretty sure that one has lifelink, I thought. Velgavoth does, but Velgavoth's a 9 mana thing. It's just his menace, and the creature destroyed this way you gain life equals to a toughness. So, Oil Deep Gearhulk also could potentially be somewhat reasonable in this, because they're both cost 4 and gains life. Yeah, Oil Deep Gearhulk wouldn't be terrible. I don't know if it's the best card, but it has lifelink, it has a little bit of ward, it's something you can hit off of Jagan, it's something you can copy, and you can use it to discard a card and draw a card, or you can choose it to, kind of Vendilion click your opponent. It's not a terrible choice. Probably would have to tweak the mana just a little bit, but would probably be overall a fine card. But back to the lifelink. Kalitas is okay, not really what I'm looking for. Cavalier being a 5 mana spell, not the best. Arden could be okay. This card's kind of a house if it sticks around. Demons you control have menace, lifelink, and haste at the beginning of combat. So that's certainly a card you could consider. Wormcoil Engine wouldn't be terrible. But yeah, I think your best choices would be Arden, the 4 mana Gearhulk, and Wormcoil Engine. I think Oil Deep Gearhulk is probably the one that fits the best in what the deck is doing. It's just another form of disruption, as well as a little bit of lifelink. It's a decent sized body against the aggro decks. So I wouldn't mind maybe looking at that one as a way of getting a little bit life gain in the deck. I don't think it solves all the problems, but it is certainly something reasonable. Contraband Kingpin. But yeah. I think I'd tweak a few things like that. Leyline is nice, but I don't think it's really necessary. I think it's more of a cute card than anything. I mean, obviously being able to play your commander instant speed's nice, but don't know that you really need it. And then some stuff in the rest of the deck is fine. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for hanging out. BCM Raider is a YouTuber. He does Commander content, especially deck techs and cards of the day, if you want to check out his stuff. Then Foz and my lovely wife. My brother was hanging out earlier. I know he's been driving, so he may not be able to message him much. Yeah, this deck was a blast. We won some early, lost a lot late. Deck is fun to play. Once again, MTG Josh was the source of the original list. You want to check out his content. He does a lot of Brawl stuff. I think he does basically a Brawl video like every day or so. I just can't keep up with that kind of release list right now, especially with all the wild cards for all the Final Fantasy stuff. So, as always, if you do like Brawl and Commander content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for hanging out for our live stream, and don't forget to check out our next weekend's live stream. It'll be the 4th of July weekend here in the U.S. So, hope everyone has a great evening.